guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about a book I read this month that is now in my top books of all time. And I want to give a shout out and say thank you to Liene from Liene's Library for convincing me to read this book. I don't know where I've been or why it has taken me so long, but you guys, this month I read The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and oh my goodness, I am so in love with this book. I cannot even, I can't even tell you. And so I thought that it definitely deserved its own video. This beauty is the 10th anniversary edition of the book. It's stunning. It also has like gorgeous artwork throughout the book, which I really enjoyed, and some other added sort of bonus material. I don't know where I've been. I love epic fantasy, and somehow I've managed to go 10 years without reading this book. I wanted to do a little bit of a review about what is so great about this book, why you should read it, and why you shouldn't be intimidated by the size of it, because I think that is one thing that certainly kept me from picking it up sooner. It is chunky. It's about 700 pages, but keep in mind that is actually the same length as A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. So if you read that book, you can definitely handle this book. It looks intimidating, but it's so good. And I actually will say I got to the end of it and I just wanted more, which that is stunning. So obviously I gave this 5 stars. However, to be perfectly honest with you, this is like on its own whole other level. It probably deserved like 10 stars. This thing is a masterpiece. It did take him a long time to write, and that is understandable. So you're probably wondering, okay, great, you love this book, that's really exciting. What is it? What's it about? So you know it's fantasy. This is a really interesting book because the format is primarily through somebody telling you the story of their life. You get some bits and pieces of our main character, Kvothe, in his current time, and then most of the book is him telling his own life story from childhood, and this particular book goes all the way up through later adolescence. So I think he's maybe 17 or so when the book ends. And obviously this is the beginning of a series. It's not a standalone, but it's beautiful and it's just so good. So the first thing about this is that Patrick Rothfuss's writing is just so lyrical. It's beautifully written. Everything has a purpose. It's really clear that he's sort of mapped out the world. He's mapped out where things are going and is putting little, peeks into what we don't know yet into this, and that keeps you reading. At least for me, knowing and seeing who Kvothe is now made me curious to see, okay, well, what are these hints at unknown things about him and about his past that we don't know? And yeah, it's really fascinating. I can't wait to read more in the series, honestly. The characters are really rich and complex and feel really real. The world building is unparalleled. Like, he is a master of world building. It's just amazing. And he's thought through everything. He's thought through economics and history and language. And, this world that we're set in has thousands of years of history that he sort of has planned out, even though we're not like directly seeing that. We get hints of that in stories. The world is just so vivid, and it's got a lot in it about music. So I know a lot of musicians love it for that, for the way that he talks about music and talks about writing music. And the effects of it. In fact, if you look at the back of it, it's blurbed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and apparently he actually has all the rights to this book to do whatever he wants in terms of movies, games, shows, whatever, which I think is kind of amazing. And I hope he does something with it, because this book is phenomenal. And I love Kvothe as a character. I mean, for me, I just really liked him. I do not always like male narrators, but like this month I seem to be doing really well with finding some really good male narrators, and this is one. I just adore him. And in some ways he's a hero, but he's also sort of a tragic figure, which I think is interesting, and seeing him grow and sometimes do dumb things because, near the end of the book he's a teenage boy and teenage boys do dumb things, but he's also this like genius who's good at everything he does. He's good at magic, he's good at music, he's just like this phenomenal person, but you know, he's still a teenager and is awkward socially, and I found that really relatable. Obviously, I'm not like a genius like that, but you know, as a teenager, I was always way ahead academically, but socially was much more behind and awkward and didn't always know what I was doing, and so I found that to be a really relatable thing. Anyway, there's just a lot to say about this book. And if you guys have read this and have any thoughts, please do talk to me in the comments down below. Liene and I ended up going back and forth chatting about this book for quite a long time after reading it, because we just had, there's so much to it. And you know, the amazing thing is immediately after finishing it, I knew it was something I was going to want to reread, and I knew I had to have the rest of the series, and please let him publish book 3. Apparently it's been years that he's been working on the draft for the final installment of the series. We have this, then we have book 2, The Wise Man's Fear, and then there's a novella that is from a different character's perspective. But book 3 he's been working on for years, and I think people are wondering if he's ever going to publish it, but I certainly hope so, because it's amazing. It's beautifully written, it just sucks you in, and I didn't want to put it down. And to me it was also just really cozy, and I think maybe it's because of the lyrical quality of it and because you're being told a story. So Kvothe is telling you his own story, and it has that kind of feeling, cozy feeling to it, of like being fireside and being told the story of adventure and heroism and young love and, you know, doing dumb things and magic. And I mean, this book just has everything in it. It's so good. I adore it. I know I'm gonna want to reread it, and like, that's amazing, because there are not that many books that I feel that way about. So yeah, there's all my gushing. If you like fantasy, if you like good storytelling and world building and you haven't read this yet, do yourself a favor and go pick it up. Don't be intimidated by the size. It's so good. I came out of it just wanting more, and I kind of can't wait to continue on with the series. I definitely will be doing that soon. I just love it, but in some ways I don't want it to be over, because it's just so good. It's so good, and there's so much in it. Like, it's the kind of thing that is incredibly rereadable, because there's so much detail and so many little hints of things that you probably don't pick up the first time around. It's the kind of thing you could like dissect and talk. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Go read it. If you haven't. If you have read it and you also love it, please do talk to me in the comments down below, because I have so many thoughts and so many feelings about this book, and I'm so glad that I finally read it, you guys. It's so good. It's so good. So there you go. Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I'm a huge fan. I am now, like, a huge fan of Patrick Rothfuss. Don't know why it took me so long, but I'm really, really glad I picked this up. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you like Name of the Wind, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.